Ladies and gentlemen, now it's Too Late with Alan Mosley.
Yeah.
All right.
We worked another miracle. We made it.
Yeah.
Made it to show, even though you had to redo everything again.
Yep. Again.
Yeah. Guys, welcome back for another episode of It's Too Late. I am your host, Alan Mosley, joined as always by the number one producer in late night. It's Dave Willimowski. Dave! Dave, how are you doing?
Doing good, man. You know? Just keeping on, brother. You know?
Yeah.
Grinding.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, I was thinking earlier today while I was driving around. I'm on that Sigma grind set.
Oh yeah.
You know what that means?
No.
Me neither. But I
think we just learned about all those words too. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me tell you about tonight's stories. In academic news, Harvard University has announced that it will offer a class examining medieval texts through the lens of queer theory. Oh. That's right. The course description presents the question, what can queer theory offer readers of medieval literature in its explorations of gender, sexuality, race, power, narrative, trauma, and time? Well, that was a perfect thumbnail for that article, by the way. You know those people love getting pegged.
Oh.
Yeah. In political news, Vice President Kamala Harris is making headlines again this week. Do we have a picture of Kamala Harris?
Oh, better believe it. There she is.
Yeah, Old Faithful. That's Kamala's nickname, Old Faithful. As the old saying goes, you race to the edges in the primaries. Though, of course, Kamala never actually participated in the primary. But you race towards the center in the general election. That's right. Vice President Harris says she's ready to represent all Americans. Take a look at this.
You know, we have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
Are you the wokest or the woker?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that laugh is just infectious.
Yeah. Just for those counting at home, there were 3 maniacal laughs in one soundbite that was 9 seconds long.
Most of it laughing, yeah.
Yeah, most of it was just nervous laughter. Also in political news, the world braces for more escalation in the Middle East following Israel's assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh while Haniyeh was visiting Iran just last week. The reaction to Haniyeh's assassination has been mixed, but I, for one, will always remember the time that he visited us right here on It's Too Late.
Thank you so much. It's great to be with you. But please, don't call me Mr. Haniyeh. That was my father. Call me Ismail. You get it? Call me Ismail. Because if you see my taste of women, you know I'm a sucker for a white whale.
He was such a nut.
Yeah, I'm going to miss that guy. And finally this evening, as the Olympics begin to wind down, the reflections ramp up. And the world of sports journalism has already decided, Dave, the debate is over. That's right. Simone Biles is the greatest by any measure.
Any measure.
The greatest Olympian of all time. And by any measure. That's right.
Yeah.
Now, far be it for me to rain on Simone's parade, but she did end her Olympic career with 11 medals. 7 of those were golds, which is an incredible achievement. No one can take that away from her. But greatest Olympian of all time, you say? Did Thanos just snap his fingers and just blink Michael Phelps out of existence?
Oh yeah.
That's right. Phelps ended up with 28 medals. 23 of them were gold. That's almost triple Biles' totals and more than triple her golds, by the way. In fact, you have to go all the way down to 27th to find Biles on the all-time medals list. But hey, maybe what they meant was that she's the greatest Olympic gymnast rather than just greatest Olympian. Well, maybe. In that case, Biles would actually only be the 3rd best. Larissa Latynina of the former Soviet Union got 18 medals, half of which were golds. Both those numbers are better than Biles. Okay. Maybe what they meant to say was that Biles is the greatest female Olympian since the Cold War.
Oh.
Well, in that case, Check out Katie Ledecky, who just won her 14th medal. 9 of those are golds. Again, both numbers top Biles. Ledecky is an American too, by the way, meaning that not only is Biles not the most decorated Olympian ever, or the most decorated gymnast, or even the most decorated female, she's not even the most decorated American woman at the Olympics this year. Not even close. But on that note, guys, let me tell you about who is the most decorated male coffee aficionado whose ad plays during the monologue. That's Fox and Sons Coffee, which you can find at Fox and Sons. As stiff competition. FoxandSons.com. Use promo code ITL for 18% off orders of $34.99 or more. Wow. Shipping is free on orders of $40 or more. You can find them at their website, which is foxandsons.com. I actually have right here, this is the Den Blend Light, which I have to say, if you're wanting like a Simone Biles flavor, I don't know if they have like a Den Blend medium. I mean, I wouldn't say dark.
Should have a medium roast. Well, oh.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know anything about coffee.
Yeah, I'm going to stay out of this.
Yeah, Anyway, that's Fox and Sons Coffee, which you can find at foxandsons.com. Use promo code ITL. Guys, we're going to be back with the meme of the week and the viewer mail right after this commercial break. Don't go away. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Dave!
Yeah.
On a scale of medieval skeleton, how are you feeling today?
I think it was it changed. Maybe like a 6 now. Was 6 the bad one? Oh, I don't want to be 6.
6 is like a half cat, half skeleton on a pole. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I started the week as an 8. I feel now I'm at a 7, which is the skeleton looking in the mirror, because I feel self-reflective.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Introspection.
Yeah. Depending on your perspective, that's actually the worst.
No, yeah.
Yeah. That's thought.
Avoid mirrors.
I opened the cookie during the commercial break because I didn't want to get crumbs everywhere. And the fortune says, the only rose without a thorn is friendship.
Wait, what?
What kind of gay shit is that? It says the only rose without a thorn is friendship.
That's stupid.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that's a stupid fortune.
Maybe we should just not do that segment anymore. I don't know.
Maybe pre-screen them or something.
Yeah, we're going to have to get somebody to screen our fortune cookies. Hey, Dave.
Yes, Alan.
What time is it?
It's time for meme of the week. Oh, I didn't see this one yet. Uh-oh. Well, that's fun. That's okay.
Oh my god, yeah. I thought that's what was going to happen to me back in May after that third strike. But
catch a bowling ball. Yo, Alan. Good game.
But we do have a bonus meme. Check out the bonus meme.
Granted, it takes some time to chew, but that was very satisfying.
I like dark chocolate.
Well, enjoy your tar flavored shit brick then. Oh my god. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of tar flavored shit bricks, let me tell you about tonight's other. Oh man. Tennessee hot. It's Tennessee hot sauce. You can find tnhotsauceco.com. Use promo code It's Too Late. You get 10% off. I actually have this is my favorite flavor, which is not shit flavored at all. It's actually garlic flavored. Really it's garlic habanero. Yeah, I like the garlic habanero a lot actually. And it's also 0 calories. So if you're into the whole diet thing, apparently you can have infinity of this. Mm-hmm. If you can sustain yourself on this, you're like some kind of synthetic man. You don't need food. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I really can't stress enough. It's not tar.
It's not shit flavored. Yeah.
No. So that's and their beef jerky's good too. They've got
banging.
Yeah, it's also a little chewy, like the ad said. Yeah. But it's
good value.
It's Tennessee Hot Sauce Company, care of our good friend Danny over at tnhotsauceco.com.
Thanks,
Use promo code It's Too Late. All right. Let's go ahead and answer some viewer mail. I love that sound.
Yeah. Nostalgia.
I think it's nostalgia, but I don't know.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Our first question comes from Derek T, who writes, Dear Alan and Dave, I've been short of breath and smelling phantom smells. When is the It's Too Late 1000th episode?
Why are those related?
I do my best to not ask questions, but I actually do know the answer to this. Because hold on, I have to pull this back up because I actually got out a calendar and scrolled through until I found, based on 50 episodes a year, right? It's about 50. We take a week or two off a year for holidays. 50 episodes a year. What does it come out to? And the answer apparently is nothing because it's taking 1,000,000 years for this to come up.
It's like
Wednesday, March 10th, 2038.
Oh,
It's episode 1000. So buckle up, kids. Got a long way to go. Yeah. Boy, Dave, if you're the producer for the 1000th episode,
take me out to the river and
leave you out the creek. Tell
me about the farm.
Yeah. That's just under 14 years from now. So
you never know. I take things way too far.
This is true. Well, I mean, we're kind of stuck in between you now feeling challenged like you can't do it, but me planning on being dead in 400 something days. So maybe we'll meet somewhere in the middle. Will Porter, another former guest on the show. Will Porter writes, Dear Alan and Dave, how can I be gay just like y'all?
Oh, well, that's presumptuous.
Okay, so normally I would be upset by someone writing something like that. But in Will's case, he had just asked a cute girl at the gas station out. Oh. And so he was really up on the hopium. And so he wasn't thinking clearly. So
wonder how that worked out.
Yeah. Well, he's asking for advice on how to be gay, so probably not too too good.
So bad for the other team now.
Justin Campbell writes, Dear Alan and Dave. By the way, Justin just came off of a week-long suspension.
Well, that could be fun.
Yeah. Did you know that when your account is suspended on X, not only can you not like or reply to posts, but you also can't follow people or bookmark stuff? I learned that earlier today after spending the past week thinking I was bookmarking what I wanted to engage with.
Oh, is that a question? I missed it.
I guess technically it's a question because he just said, "Did you know?" But he didn't actually put a question mark anywhere in there.
I don't know what bookmarking means.
Sometimes people will bookmark our posts, but it's always just dumb shit. And I'm like, why did you need to save that? I don't know.
Future
like
litigation or something.
I don't know. Okay, apparently Justin decided to ask a real question when he wrote, Dear Alan and Dave, would you rather have Batman/Iron Man intelligence and suits and gadgets, or real superpower like Superman/Thor?
Oh, that's a good one.
Now, I know that what some people would say that, well, if you go with the Batman/Iron Man route, that also means you're going to be like a billionaire, right? You're going to be like super rich.
Yeah.
But, and stay with me on this, if I were Superman, then really everything you have belongs to me.
Yeah, you already own everything.
Yeah, everything in the whole world is mine now. So
I'll let you borrow it, but that's mine.
You guys can work the land in exchange.
Sweet deal.
Yeah. So Justin, the answer is Superman powers.
Yeah, I'll go with that. You convinced me.
Yeah. Although I did read a fascinating meme about something that Lex Luthor could do to Superman that I think I sent you, but I don't think we should talk about it on the show.
No, I vaguely remember. Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Let's not.
All right. It's something that the Israelis do to the Palestinian prisoners. So it's just...
You're just talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all, dude, the pre-show was lit today. All right. Mary Linda Wilimowski writes, Dear Alan and Dave.
Uh-oh.
Do you think you could run the Olympic 100-meter finals race against the females and not come in last? Okay, the first question that I asked Mary is there a gentleman in your household that believes that they would not come in last? And does this also happen to be the same gentleman that thinks they can throw like a 60-yard pass?
I'm working on it. I just need to loosen up the shoulder.
All right. So, Dave, I'm going to say some things to you now, but I want you to know they're going to hurt. But it's because I love you, okay? No.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
So like the women's record, because I know they're slower than the men. The women's record is 10.5 second 100-meter dash. Are you telling me right now you can run 100 meters in 10.5 seconds? Let me.
Well, first
no,
of all,
no, hold on. I'm just going to stop you right there. There's no first of all. I'm going to stop you right there. No, you cannot. So first of all, no, Dave.
Oh.
And second of all, old. Too old.
I'd probably hurt myself. That's what I figured. I don't know what 100 meters actually is, but
yeah,
it doesn't seem like it's that long.
Maybe that's what you should do. Maybe you should have someone timing you running for 10.5 seconds and then stop and measure how far you got. And if the answer is from your front porch to your car, that's not 100 meters. That's
not meddling, huh?
It's not 100 meters. Yeah, and that's the women's. So you're going to have to like get the same judges as those boxers if you want to compete in that category. All right. Well, I'm glad we got through that. Ryan Seifert writes, Dear Alan and Dave, are you ready for some football? Ooh.
Oh, I've been ready. Yeah.
Oh, it's football season. Full slate of preseason NFL games are this week. There's going to be football on tomorrow night.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's where
sneaking
I'm
up on me.
Yeah. Oh, it's almost the time of year where we bring back our little our little down low NFL Red Zone broadcasts on Discord where we're all hanging out watching 8 simultaneous football games for what's the thing that he always says? 7 hours of uninterrupted commercial free football. It's coming. Yeah. I'm ready. Yeah. What do you think?
Are they going to have those big foam helmets? Are they doing that this year?
I think that it's elective that you can wear different different like types of helmet, but not like the practice helmets. No.
Oh, okay.
But they are doing the new kickoff this year, where everyone has to just stand and hold hands and wait for the ball to come down, and then
they nerfed it even more.
Like,
oh my god.
Yeah. So like after the kick returner receives the kick, then the two lines you have to race to say something nice about the guy across from you.
Okay.
And then you just go out of bounds.
Just go to your bench.
Yeah. What do you think? This is Buffalo's year?
Oh yeah, yeah. Last year, rebuilding year. We're set now. I don't know, man.
Brian Johnson writes, Dear Alan and Dave, have you ever had or known a pet you absolutely hated? I have never had a pet of my own that I absolutely hated, because my pets have always been great, because I was actually a good pet owner. But I have known some people that I like.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. Do you ever? Okay, all right. Do you ever come across like an animal that's a problem, and that makes you like that gives you pause for what they're doing in the house? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So
they're running their life.
Do you judge people like if they have shitty pets? Does that make you judge them for like how they are behind closed doors?
I think maybe they just don't know that they're doing something wrong. Like they're trying their best. I mean, it's kind of a judgment to say like you're not doing it right, but I don't think it's malicious.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, I try to be nice.
So I have never had a pet that I hated, but I have known other people's pets where I was like, this is a shitty ant, you know, like, why is it like this?
Oh, we had a rooster that was an asshole.
What's a rooster? That ain't a pet. That's a velociraptor that lived in your yard. So yeah, I don't know if that counts. All right. And finally this evening, D3 writes, Dear Alan and Dad, what is the most surprising part about the 2024 Olympics so far? Anything surprised you so far?
I don't know enough to be surprised about it. You know, I don't know who's supposed to do what, and they didn't. I mean, I really like the poop in the Seine River. That was pretty exciting, but I didn't know it was that dirty.
All right. Just really quick before we take our next break, because I just happened to see Justin's over here in chat, and Justin was a collegiate athlete, so not exactly a POS, and he said, quote, some chick did the 400-meter hurdles in 52 seconds. My best 400 meters without hurdles was 56 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not exactly an athlete either.
So is okay. No, hold it. So is your thinking just that, for 100 meters I could just wing it? Like, is that?
Yeah, kinda. Before I burn out.
You just have to visualize that they're going home from the bar late alone, and you're making sure they're going to be okay. Is that?
See, what happened is I put it on one night, and BMX was on, women's BMX, and I'm like, this is kind of dull. You know, it's almost like what they do in the snow, but not as exciting. And then after the commercial, it was the men's BMX. And I'm like, holy cow, this is a different sport. And so I kind of put that reference on all the sports. And I'm like, maybe I could do that. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I guess they're pretty fast. That's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah. Okay. I'm hearing everyone. I still sense denial, though. That's what I'm getting.
It's just kind of see what happens. You know?
All right, okay. All right. Guys, we're going to be back to talk about Minnesota Governor Tim Walz being announced as Kamala Harris's vice presidential pick.
Ooh.
Right after this commercial break. Oh, boy. I mean, okay, but where's the lie, though?
No, that was pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, of course, obviously for legal reasons, that none of that was true. That was in the alternate Kitty universe that all of that happened.
That's how their history went. Wait, he said their history was just like ours.
Anyways, guys, let me tell you about the big news. You probably heard the Minnesota Governor Tim Walz was announced as the vice presidential candidate of the DNC nominee. Well, we call her the DNC nominee. She didn't actually run or get any votes or anything. But Kamala Harris. Do we have a picture of Tim Walz?
Yeah. Awesome, that guy.
Yeah, I love that movie. That's a good movie.
He looks fun.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to share a lot of stuff with you, but first things first is I wanted to read through an article that came out in Reason just yesterday that is simply titled "Tim Walz was a COVID-19 tyrant." Now, there's a lot that can be said about Tim Walz, but this particular article is going to focus in on his time as governor during the pandemic, and I think that that's useful because for people who lived it, and especially for people who they were genuinely affected, like you had to make hard choices, or you lost your job, or you had to close your business, or you're being threatened in some way. And we're not even going to get into, well, everyone's been affected when you think of inflation and the government spending. But I'm old enough to remember in the last couple of years when it was still fresh on people's minds, when everybody was saying, we got to hold all the COVID tyrants accountable. We got to vote all these people out of office. All of these people have to be run out of DC. Well, I hope you still remember that energy, because here's one of them right here being nominated as vice president. Wouldn't it be a shame? Oh, shucks, if that guy somehow just managed to be on the winning ticket in November.
Weird.
So the Minnesota governor actually defended the state's disastrous nursing home policies. We'll get to that in a second. So obviously, Kamala Harris chooses Tim Walz as her running mate. Walz was a moderate Democrat when he served in the House of Representatives, but he went further and further left as he was governor of Minnesota. Of course, a lot of people recall that during his time as governor of Minnesota, that's when there were riots and the Summer of Love and George Floyd, and you have half the cities are burning to the ground. And what is Tim Walz doing? Tim Walz is letting the riots go on completely unmolested, and he's pulling the police back. And what few rioters did get arrested, ironically enough, it was Kamala Harris headlining the organization to make sure all those people were freed. Imagine that. They were already such a good team.
Yeah.
So this is actually great, you guys. So he also had a particular way of describing his brand of socialism. We'll get to that in a second. A notable thing about Walz is that he served as governor during the COVID-19 pandemic. To parse his approach to the virus, his policies were extremely heavy-handed and restrictive. Under his leadership, the state endured a pandemic in a fundamentally anti-libertarian fashion. When it was first spreading, Walz was a enthusiastic promoter of social distancing. Remember that? Remember the, like 6 feet to stop the spread, and then they finally
stick around. Like
even Fauci finally came out earlier this year, and they're like, "Yeah, we didn't really base that on anything. It was just kind of
made that up."
Yeah, I'm just antisocial. So
I like that part of it.
I know you do. Piece of. He describes the crowds in public outdoor spaces as, quote, a little too big. He even defended, listen to this, he set up a phone hotline in Minnesota so that people could call and snitch on their neighbors.
1-800-RAT-CHAT.
Yeah, just straight up Gestapo in Minnesota under Walz's watch. Walz's government maintained a method for people to report their neighbors for failing to abide by social distancing rules. He insisted in a recent interview, quote, one person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. Isn't that nice? We actually have a clip of that. Play the clip of him saying that.
One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. A beautiful day for a neighbor.
So neighborly.
Could you be mine? Could you be
mine? It's a
neighborhood tidying.
Let's see. Which, of course, that's particularly ironic, since you would think that denouncing one's neighbors as insufficiently loyal to the government is which is, by the way, a fundamental aspect of socialism. That doesn't sound very neighborly to me. When asked by Republicans to take down the hotline, he flatly responded, "We're not going to take down a phone number that people can keep their families safe." And though Walz instructed police to merely issue citations to people caught violating stay-at-home orders, which is bad enough, he also maintained the right via executive order to issue $1,000 fines and send violators of his distancing policies up to 90 days in jail.
Wow.
This guy is being nominated for vice president, by the way. His government maintained that private indoor gatherings should be limited to 10 people. Outdoor gatherings were arbitrarily capped at 25. He also declared a statewide mask mandate for indoor spaces and even some outdoor spaces. At the time, he said this: "If we can get to 90 to 95% compliance, which we've seen the science shows, it didn't, we can reduce the infection rates dramatically, which slows that spread and breaks that chain. This is the way, the cheapest, most effective way for us to open up our businesses, for us to get our kids back in school, and for us to keep our grandparents healthy, and for us to get back that life that we all miss so much." Walz was also one of the governors that implemented what was probably the dumbest COVID-19 policy of all, particularly as it pertains to restaurants. Diners at restaurants had to wear masks while walking to and from their tables, but did not have to wear masks while sitting and eating and drinking.
The floor is COVID.
Yeah. All this stuff, I mean, it was totally nonsense then, but even looking back on it now, it's like, how could anyone have gone along with that? How stupid are all of you people? Later, in November and December of that year, he issued and extended orders for restaurants, gyms, and other businesses to shut down. This included outdoor dining services. Over 150 businesses formed a Reopen Minnesota coalition and urged the governor to relent. He refused. By the spring of 21, vaccines were widely available for the most at-risk groups, which those will kill you too, by the way. And people who wanted to protect themselves from the risk of severe disease and death were able to exercise that option. It was only at this point that Walz partly relented and allowed widespread reopening. However, he kept capacity limits in place for many businesses. These nonsensical policies, the efficacy of which is now doubted by top U.S. health officials, i.e., they're just admitting what we all always knew. Yeah. They're not unique to Minnesota. In fact, they were commonplace in blue states. But Walz was as vigorous an enforcer of them as any of his Democratic peers. Here's where we get to remember the whole nursing home thing. Remember in New York that they talked about how they literally just wiped out a generation of elderly. Here you go. He was also one of the foremost defenders of the monstrous COVID-19 policy choice, sending sick elderly patients back to nursing homes, where the infection often spread to other vulnerable people, causing a disproportionate number of coronavirus deaths in such settings. A cover-up of nursing home deaths in New York brought an end to the political ambitions of Governor Andrew Cuomo, who lied about his involvement in the policy. But Walz was a fellow practitioner. In fact, to this day, Walz has said it was, quote, not a mistake to release sick people back to nursing homes. That statement alone reflects poor enough judgment as to be disqualifying for the pursuit of higher office. Pandemic policies are not nearly as salient today as they were 2 years ago, and so it remains to be seen whether Walz's record here matters much to voters. But for anyone who considers COVID-19 restrictions to have been the biggest assault on our liberties in our lifetime, Walz's VP candidacy should be a non-starter. Well, that's the real question right there, isn't it? Is that all those people that were all so upset with the way the COVID-19 scamdemic was handled, and all those people said, all these monsters have to be held to account. Vote them all out. Make sure that none of them ever touch the levers of power again.
Here you go.
Here's your chance. Are you going to do it? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I do have some other things to share with you that we're probably going to wait until after the break, but there was one that I didn't get in the show in time because it's literally in the news, literally as we speak. This guy went on national television this very day. day and said that, look, guys, the First Amendment has limits. And we have to make sure that the government has the power to curb the free speech of people who use it for misinformation and dangerous activity. So the same people who prosecuted people for misinformation, and all that stuff turned out to be all true and factual as it related to COVID-19,
Not weird.
that they have now, years later, finally started to walk back and say, okay, mea culpa, none of that was, you guys were right, we were wrong. No, though remember, Walz never admitted any wrongdoing. He now says that if some government bureau decides that you are spreading misinformation, then that same government bureau should get to actually persecute you for free speech.
Mm-hmm.
There he is. You should listen to them when they're telling you who they are.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk even more about Governor Tim Walz right after this commercial break. Don't go away. Tonight's show is proudly sponsored by Fox & Sons Coffee. Fans of It's Too Late use code ITL for 18% off orders of $34.99 or more. Shipping is free on orders of $40 or more. You can find them on their website, which is foxandsons.com. That's foxandsons.com. I did have one more video clip I wanted to share with you. This is one that I don't know if you guys will remember this or not, because I remember it happening, but I didn't remember that it was Tim Walz that did it. So check this out right here. So not only does he openly defend socialism, and not only does he say that socialism is just, progressives being good neighbors, but he was also the guy that in a state address stopped his own address so that he could do the publicity stunt of showing all of his constituents there in Minnesota that he was ditching the Minnesota state flag. It has a problematic history. So we're just going to throw out all the tradition of great Minnesotans here, and we're going to use this flag instead that just so happens to have the same caricature and colors of the Somali flag, so that we can be good neighbors to all the Somali immigrants that are in our state now, burning down buildings and raping people on the street.
Oh.
That's the kind of just literal, openly devout socialist that Tim Walz is. There's no sugarcoating it. He literally says that that's what he is. I know a lot of people have already talked about the fact that, well, why does he get picked? That's one of the questions, right? It's like, well, how is this guy a candidate? And it's, of course, just like with anything in politics, it's politics. They didn't pick Shapiro out of Pennsylvania. A lot of people thought that he was going to be the pick because then that way it would be a lock blue state in the election. But with Minnesota, it's they hope to win Minnesota, but then you have the states that Minnesota borders. They're hoping to get other states in the Rust Belt area will go left wing in the election. So that's the political angle. But it's also the fact that these people, I had mentioned earlier in the monologue, that there's that old wisdom when it comes to national politics, particularly in presidential races, that when you're running in a primary against other members of your own party that are seeking your party's nomination, you want to outdo them. You don't want the voters in your party to think that you're a centrist who's going to make deals across the aisle. Screw those people. If you're a Republican voter, you want the most Republican-y Republican who ever Republicaned to be your nominee. If you still, for some weird reason, call yourself a conservative and vote Republican, then you want a die-hard conservative who's way more conservative than everyone else, that's really going to think about traditional values. You don't want someone who's like a mealy-mouthed conservative who, yeah, I'm kind of right-wing on some things, but I'm left-wing on some things. That's not how the primaries work. They always run to the edges in the primaries. Same thing for the Democrats. They want the biggest, just shit-stained cuck liberal ever was. They want that because they want to make sure that they're not getting somebody who's just going to roll over to the Republicans when the rubber meets the road in the House and the Senate. Okay. But once the primaries have been decided, once the candidates are set, and I obviously I use that with a grain of salt because God knows there was no Democratic primary. But once the candidates are set, then they immediately change gears. They immediately ditch that campaign because that campaign was for the primary. For the general election, they run to the center. Because if the third of the country that's Republican is going to vote for the Republican, and the third of the country that's Democrat is going to vote for the Democrat, then you need the other third of the country that are swing voters, that are in the middle, that are independents and centrists, the people who they don't vote down party line, they only vote once every 2 to 4 years, and they're not super politically connected. You want those people to vote for you. Well, being an insane leftist, or for that matter, an insane right-winger, is not going to get centrist votes. You want to demonstrate. That's when you start to hear these lines. You'll recall them from the last several elections. That, well, I'm not running to be president of the Republicans. I'm running to be president of all of America. You don't hear that shit in the primaries, by the way. No one running for their party's nomination says, I want to be president of everyone. Fuck you. We're the Democrats, motherfucker.
We're taking over.
But in the general, you want to represent the middle. Walz is an absolute unashamed socialist. Kamala Harris is an absolute unashamed socialist. So some people have wondered, well, why is that the ticket? Why did he get picked? And the answer is again, kind of the theme of tonight's show. You should listen to your enemies when they're telling you who they are. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. They are openly socialist, and they're telling you, yeah, we believe in socialism. That's what we're going to pursue if we get elected. So the question comes down to is, can an openly socialist ticket that didn't even run in the primary, by the way, because they were simply anointed by the party elites. There was no democratic process at all. Are they going to win the presidency? I'm sitting here this very night telling you, we don't know. Everyone 2 weeks ago thought, oh, for sure, this election is over. After the assassination attempt on Trump, it's like, oh man, look at those poll numbers. Look how bad Biden looks. Trump heroically standing up and pumping his fist.
Photo op.
Dude, it's over. He's got it in the bag. But he had it in the bag, maybe, against the guy he was running against. That guy's not there anymore. And you're already seeing the polls. And I know that the polls are all BS and they purposely oversample women and Democrats just to make the polls skew left. But the polls are showing, oh, look at Harris. Harris is closing in the polls. Oh, look, Harris is actually up 3. Oh, look, Harris is actually leading in the key battleground states. She could win the presidency. I know that there are the cynics out there are saying that the reason why they're doing this is that they're already conditioning people to accept it when they steal the election. When they somehow find 82 million, remember, Biden was the most popular president ever elected, remember? He got 81 million votes. Well, of course, Kamala Harris has to get 83 million votes. She's even more popular than Biden. You will be conditioned to believe it when they cheat right in front of you, because they're going to be putting out polls every week from now to November saying, oh, look, she's climbing in the polls. Oh, look, Trump's trending down. I don't even know if they'll even have a debate. Frankly, why would they? The Democrats have clearly shown that they don't need to engage in the democratic process. They'll just do whatever they want. So it comes down to, will the voters reward them for circumventing the whole thing and openly elect socialists to president and vice president. The last thing that I wanted to share was I had read this online, and I thought it was such a great way to sort of sum up Tim Walz as who he is. And I know people have already talked about the free speech thing, and I know people have talked about his military service record, that apparently, you know, he and J.D. Vance were both in the military. J.D. Vance was in the Marine Corps, and he has since that time come to decide that the war on terror was not a good idea, and that he regrets the way things were handled. But he was in the military, and if the military says, hey, we're deploying you to, you know, Afghanistan or Iraq, well, you gotta go. That's you sold your soul to the military, you gotta go. Did you know that Tim Walz was in the National Guard, and he spent 20 years in the military, basically touring Europe? And when the moment came that they were going to deploy his unit to Iraq, he ditched. He noped right out of there. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want any of you guys to go die for Israel, so I don't want any of you guys to join the military. But I'm saying these guys were already in. They did join the military with absolutely no scruples about it whatsoever. J.D. Vance did his job. Tim Walz, like, oh, my work here is done. Takes the last sip of his coffee in Paris and back to the States for me. Yeah. So a bunch of people have already talked about that. But I want to read this little description of Tim Walz. Tim Walz is boomerism incarnate. He is the physical manifestation of every negative boomer stereotype. He's narcissistic. He's materialistic. He's selfish. He has a burning hatred for tradition and heritage. He has it all. There is a symbolic poetry in his willingness to play second fiddle to Harris. The old boomer handing over the keys to the castle to the ungrateful, unworthy foreigner, content to ride out his years with a fat pension while his descendants struggle to put food on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much Tim Walz. So, I implore everyone again, you should listen to your enemies when they're telling you who they really are. Guys, we're going to be back to wrap up the show right after this commercial break. If you're enjoying tonight's show, consider supporting the program by becoming a member of our Patreon. That's over at patreon.com/Alan Mosley. Like our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Alan Mosley TV. You can follow me on Twitter. It's twitter.com/Alan Mosley TV. Subscribe to our YouTube page. It's youtube.com/Alan Mosley TV. But if you're more of a listener than a watcher, you get us on our favorite podcasting platform of choice, thanks to Spotify. It's Too Late with Alan Mosley or Alan Mosley TV.
Wow.
Dave, do you have a final thought?
Yeah. Hold on a second. What is this doing? There we go. Hey, that was a good show. I just want to remind everybody that Alan puts a lot of work in this. Even I put some work into this. So if you want, go to that Patreon, sign up, send a few bucks every month, or hit one of the links probably in the description. Tip them for a good show.
Yeah.
Or if you're on Twitch, subscribe on Twitch. That's free to you if you got a Prime subscription. But yeah. This is a good show.
Imagine me coming home this afternoon already knowing that I was going to have to skip dinner because I had too much work to do to get this show out. And then I found out that we had a little production snafu. So then I call up Dave and Dave, what are you doing this afternoon? Shut the fuck up. It doesn't matter. Let me tell you what you're doing this afternoon. You're working on the show. And then Dave's like, well, let me take a nap real quick.
Yeah.
Look at it with fresh eyes.
We're getting good at rebuilding it, though.
Yeah. I feel pretty confident that when next year's live event rolls around and we're doing the show live, it's going to be nothing for us. Because, please, I've designed an entire show in an hour, a dozen times at this point. It's going to be nothing.
Piece of cake.
A real quick look in chat. Ryan says, hey, did I miss anything? Kill yourself. Justin said, Alan gave advice on how to be more gay. That's true. Yeah, Aaron's hitting everybody with, just subscribe to the channel. Justin also says, talking about the polls, the polls are BS. We all know that. Democrats want to burn their careers to the ground. I mean, they've gotten pretty rich. So, obviously, they know something I don't. Josh says, is secession back on the menu? God, I wish. We got a Yankee problem in this country. That's the damn problem. I saw, by the way, that during the kitty history video, people were so enthralled by it that chat just stopped for that whole 3 minutes.
That was great.
Yeah, so I'm glad everybody really enjoyed that. Damar Hamlin for Defensive Player of the Year. Is that guy still alive?
Yeah, I don't think they can get rid of him now.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's been long enough now that they'll like just quietly cut him, and that'll Aren't the sons named Fox? Well, I mean, I would assume that the sons are also named Fox if the dad is named Fox.
You'd think.
Yeah. Steve doesn't believe in your feminist bullshit, so his sons are named Fox. Let's see. Terrible puppet actress. Okay. I'm here, be a Wookiee. There's a bunch of just stoned out of their mind people at the top of chat. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the episode. It's too late, and we will see you next week.
That was fun. I like that.
What do you think about an after party?
Yeah, I got to. Interact with our friends. Got to.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah, just real quick. Happy birthday to Shane, by the way. We missed Shane's birthday, and he was also the guy that played Ishmael in that previous episode.
Oh, yeah.
So Ishmael is dead, but Shane is still alive. So everybody wish Shane a happy birthday.
And happy belated to Codain there. I think he was
Oh,
Sunday.
yeah. Absolutely. After party, yes.
Yes.